Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. Brett and Terry.
We're definitely back, and this is our weekly review. Well, you want to start with the BYU Boise State game?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
sound like a broken record here. Every time we get together, we talk
Number
about BYU and Zach Wilson.
BYU against number 21 Boise State. BYU destroys Boise State. They really poured it on in the third quarter.
Put an ass whooping on.
51-17. Zach Wilson. Man, this guy's awesome. I like the way he plays football.
Mm-hmm.
Just accurate. He'll throw the deep ball. He's short passing game. Everything works.
There was a point in the second quarter where he had a drive and he didn't look too good in the drive, and then the next possession he just gets the ball and makes things happen. The zone scored a rushing touchdown that drive. But yeah, I mean, he just went nuts in the game. 359 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, a couple of touchdowns running. They just killed Boise State. And I don't know what game it was last night. They were talking about the playoffs, the conferences, percentage to get into the playoffs. And down the bottom of the screen, there was BYU at 26% chance of getting in the playoffs. So I hope they do, because it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, they looked great last night, or Friday night, excuse me.
And you can't tweet about Zach Wilson without a whole bunch of Patriots fans tweeting back at you, being like, "Can't wait till we draft him next year."
Yeah. Well, that'd be a good pickup if they managed to get them, but he might go a little earlier.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go. Well, the Patriots suck, so they might have an early pick.
So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's 51-17 BYU over Boise State. Miami, NC State, and that little squeaker. Number 11 Miami, they're 6-1. Took care of business against NC State, 44-41. I saw Coach Rick on Twitter last night talking about Derrick King. Woo, Derrick King!
He had a huge game. I was watching this game, but I was a little preoccupied, so I was on Twitter. And every 5 seconds, someone's like, Derrick King, with a brilliant play, and Derrick King just schooling folks out here. So, statistics, 31 for 41 for 430 yards and 5 touchdowns, 15 carries for 105 yards. So, he basically did it all by himself for the most part. Their defense, they gave up a lot of points, but what I did watch, their defense was making some plays. Miami's a pretty good team, but they're just quite not to that elite level yet, but hell, they're 6-1. This is a great season for them.
And if things continue, maybe next year you're talking about Miami in the conversation. Yep. Georgia v. Florida. Florida dominates 44-28. Quarterback play for Georgia, not anything.
I don't think they have that position on the team. Kyle Trask is awesome. I don't know the stats. I can't see that. So what is it? 474 and 4 touchdowns, 30 for 43. Probably one of the most impressive games by a QB I've ever seen. He got pressured all night. I watched this whole game. I don't think Georgia sacked him maybe 1 or 2 times, but they had pressure on him. They would collapse in the pocket on him. He would just step it up, making throws, shuffling to the side, making throws. Kyle Pitts caught 2 passes. That's it. They killed Georgia with that wheel route. My God, that was the most impressive thing to me in this entire game, was the ability of the running backs to just make not only great catches down the sideline, but they couldn't, Georgia boasts great defense with awesome linebackers. Their linebackers, for the most part, were running with the backs. Kyle Trask was just putting it over the shoulder. Running back kind of reaches out in front of him. Beautiful passes. Georgia was down to their 3rd string defense, and look at the score. The only thing Florida did in the second half was 2 field goals. That was it. But in that second quarter, when they scored 24, I started to feel a little bit bad for some of these DBs, true freshman DB. You could tell they weren't ready to be in a game of that magnitude yet. They didn't know what they were doing, and they were just Gators running free because of it. So, really ugly loss for Georgia. They got to get the QB situation figured out.
They could always run the triple option or wishbone next week against Missouri.
Yeah, they got to get it figured out, because they've got a good team. There's solid skilled position players. They've got a good offensive line. They run the ball pretty well. Hell, Zamir White only had 7 carries and went for $107.
Should have been running the ball a lot more.
Should have been running a lot. Cook played fairly well. He had some good runs. Kendall Milton had a good run before he got injured.
That's the MCL spray.
Yes, he's going to be right. He look worse,
Yeah.
live. But, Georgia's got a good football team, but they don't have a QB. So they're kind of going to waste, and they've lost 2 games. They're out of the race for the East, out of the race for the SEC, out of the playoff race. So I'd say just blow it up. Get somebody in there that is going to be able to play next year, and just build.
No, let's find out what we can do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here comes the game of the week. Clemson, Notre Dame. Notre Dame defeats number 1 in the country without Trevor Lawrence, who's on the sidelines, which means he should have been playing. COVID protocol.
Yeah, I can hang out on the sidelines with my teammates, but I just can't be in the game. It's fucking stupid.
DJ, last name I can't pronounce, 29 of 44, 439 yards and 2 TDs. Clemson offense had put up 40 points. Where was the defense at? Well, Ian Book played pretty well. That's
what shocked me about this game, and I gotta apologize to Notre Dame. We've been kind of dogging them out all year, saying they're not as good as their ranking, and I honestly thought they were going to lose this game. I didn't think anybody could touch Clemson, but obviously I was wrong. So, and I'm happy to be wrong, because that's what makes college football so much fun. I thought the same way you did. I tuned into this game late in the second quarter, and it was already, Notre Dame was up big, and I just remember thinking, first few games season, people say Notre Dame, they can run the football, but they can't pass. Well, then they have the game against, I think it was Pitt, where they threw in the football all over the field. They ran it down Clemson's throat.
Right.
And I was extremely surprised, but they let Clemson get back in it late, and able to win in overtime. But that DJ Ugalele, sorry dude, saying your name wrong. He's built like that guy Simmons. They had that like hybrid linebacker a couple years ago when he got drafted in the first round of the NFL. He's built like that. He doesn't look like a QB. He looks like a defensive end or a linebacker. He's huge.
Monster.
So that was a fun game. Twitter was a lot of fun during that game too.
All right, well, that's 47-40. Notre Dame takes over, and they take down Clemson.
Well, before we go any further, we discussed last week what would happen if Notre Dame wins this game and wins out, since there's no divisions, 2 sides of that conference. Basically, UNC's out because they've got 2 losses, so we're going to probably see a rematch of this game again in Charlotte, I believe, in December. So.
Winner's in.
Yeah, winner's in. We don't have to worry about the scenario of the playoff committee saying, well, we still think Clemson's great with Trevor Lawrence, even though they lost without him. We don't have to worry about that. Winning, you're in.
Yeah. And if Notre Dame miraculously loses that game, they may end up squeaking in and getting a spot in the playoff.
Yeah, exactly.
So who knows what's going to happen? This is 2020. Anything is possible.
Yeah, Notre Dame, who would have thought too? They joined a conference and they might just win the damn thing.
Who knows? All right, well, move right along. Ohio State Rutgers 49-27. Rutgers scored 18 points in the fourth quarter to make it look somewhat like they actually stood a chance in this game, but obviously they did not. Now, Justin Fields 24 of 28, 314 with 5 touchdowns.
He ran one in too. I saw in the highlights. So just Justin Fields being Justin Fields. Not a ton to talk about in that game. They played Rutgers. You kind of knew what was going to happen. So. Good for Ohio State for winning, and hopefully nobody got hurt.
And now we're up to Cincinnati, Houston. Cincinnati is another team that has snuck into the conversation this week about being eligible for the playoffs. They are 6-0. They beat Houston 38-10. I still like BYU over them, but hey,
I do too.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen this year? 38-10. Didn't watch this game. Don't know much about it. Anything you want to add to that?
Cincinnati, they continue to play well. Like you said, I think BYU probably gets in ahead of them if that happens. But, good for them. They're having a great season. People have a lot of fun up there in Cincy.
And another team that has gotten the conversation, Texas A&M. Texas A&M defeated South Carolina, 48-3. They're playing some pretty good football. Jimbo's got them playing well.
Jimbo's got them playing well. Kellen Mond's playing great. I did an episode on A&M, a little team breakdown over the summer. I thought they were my... not sleeper team in the SEC, but I thought they were a team that could contend. And this was before we knew that LSU was a dumpster fire. So I thought, they could contend with LSU and Alabama. They lost to Alabama by a fairly decent margin, but they didn't play that bad. They had, kind of like Alabama's prone to do, they make you have a really bad 5-minute span, and in that 5-minute span, Alabama scores 20 points on you. That basically is what happened to Texas A&M. They're looking really good. The rumors this morning were, now it is, currently is almost 6 o'clock in the evening. The rumors this afternoon was that after this game, rumors out of South Carolina was Muschamp's gone. But just about 2 hours ago, I saw a member of the sports media that I trust saying, don't expect anything to come down today. So we'll see what happens. So.
That's good. That's good. All right. Stanford, Oregon, number 12 in the country. They finally played their first game of the season.
Pac-12's back, or at least some of the conference, because they had 2 games canceled.
That's right. That's right. 35-14. Like I said, I didn't see this game either. But
I think this is the game. I tried to watch this game, and it was like Biden was on TV. So I didn't watch any of the game. But we haven't discussed it yet. I haven't even mentioned it in any of the episodes we've done. I think that one of my most hated teams in all of the college football is Stanford.
right.
So I love it when Stanford loses. Not an Oregon fan, although I think Cristobal is a damn good coach. And they just always seem to have good skill guys and a decent quarterback. And, you know, they recruit really, really well. When you got the kind of money that Oregon has, you just go into Texas and you start grabbing athletes.
Right.
But I'm really, really happy they beat Stanford. So hopefully Stanford doesn't win any games this year. Screw them.
Well, speaking of teams that lose games, Michigan, they're now 1-2 of the season. They lost to Indiana, which is 3-0. Indiana's playing some good brand football.
Penix looks like he's pretty decent QB. Michigan fans were during the game, and it wasn't even a touchdown play. If Indiana got a first down pass, or fire was it Brown, the defensive coordinator? I think it's Brown. They wanted him gone. And I was flipping back between this game and a couple other games, the Texas-West Virginia game, and then, there was another game I was watching. So I didn't really watch a ton of this game, but golly, every time I turned the TV on, Indiana was throwing for first down plays. It looked really, really bad for Michigan. They just looked bad all around. Second week in a row, they looked really, really bad. As bad as things are in certain fan bases of the country, it can always be worse. You can always be a Michigan or a Penn State fan right now because it's just miserable for both of those programs.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Oklahoma State, they're 5-1. They won 20-18. Another game I didn't get to see, but that Oklahoma State's still alive for the Big 12.
Oklahoma State got a scoop and score with 3 minutes left to go in the game, and they were losing. Boring game. This was on the exact same time as the 3:30 SEC game slot, so I had this on in another room, and I maybe watched 3-4 plays. But hey, it's the Big 12 Wheel of Destiny, so Oklahoma State's still alive. So good for them.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about Coastal Carolina. They won 23-6. They're undefeated. 7-0.
Only undefeated team in South Carolina.
Okay. Iowa State beats Baylor 38-31. Iowa State's 5-2, 17th in the country. They're still alive.
Still alive. I really like Iowa State. I thought they were going to win by a much greater margin than 7 points. But hey, they got the win. Baylor's 1-4. Iowa State's 5-2. They're not completely out of it yet. So we'll see what happens. But I was happy to see Iowa State win. I didn't see any of this game.
Let's see. What do we want to talk about? Discuss the Liberty against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Liberty 7-0, 25 in the country. Knock off Virginia Tech 38-35.
Going at the end of the game, Liberty was going to kick a game-winning field goal. It got blocked in return for a winning touchdown for Virginia Tech, only to find out that Virginia Tech had called a timeout to ice the kicker. They get to kick again, and the kick is good. They win 38-35. Crazy game. Hugh Freeze, everyone thinks he's going to get the job at South Carolina if and when they do fire Muschamp. I disagree. I think you can see Steve Sarkisian get a look. And the reason I believe is because I think it's going to be another Georgia situation where South Carolina fires their coach or the coach leaves, which in that case was Spurrier, and Georgia quickly made a move to get rid of Rick because they knew Kirby was going to be offered the job of South Carolina. I think what you're going to see is Sarkisian for Alabama getting phone calls, and you're going to see another SEC team probably try to jump ahead and get rid of their coach. I don't really know who that could be, other than maybe like a Jeremy Pruitt. I don't think Gus Malzahn's going anywhere right now. So we'll see what happens. But I believe Hugh Freeze ain't getting that job. So that USC Arizona State game was a great game. Keaton Slovis is the man. I love that dude. 381 yards, 2 touchdowns. Basically, they were down at the end of the game. It was like 4th and 15. They throw a prayer into the end zone, gets tipped, caught. They get the onside kick, go down and score a touchdown. USC's receivers are just beasts. They're huge.
Oh, so you comment that.
Yeah, dude, number 15, the guy's got hands. It's like freaking oven mitts. Like that final touchdown, he caught the ball and brought it in, and that DB had his arm around the ball. He just pinned it to his hip when going to the ground. They looked really, really good as wide receiver, but overall, they didn't look that good of a team. They have to improve if they're going to beat Oregon.
Texas, West Virginia, Texas won 17-13. I caught a little bit of that game.
It was a snooze fest.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah, I was actually watching just a little earlier. We talked about the Michigan game. I was watching that game with the Arizona State, USC, and West Virginia, Texas. I watched most of the USC Arizona State game. Watched a little bit of West Virginia, Texas, and it was a snooze fest. I kept expecting Texas to kind of just start taking over, and they wouldn't. And West Virginia couldn't do anything. And finally, Texas comes back and wins. They got kind of lucky there at the end, in my opinion. But Herman saves his job for the week, so
that's right.
Good for them. I expected a lot more out of Texas this year.
Yeah. The Purdue-Wisconsin game got canceled.
Wisconsin has to play the rest of their games, or else they're ineligible for the Big Ten championship.
So that's that. Is there anything else we're missing here?
Nothing really of note other than, the big news today, Clemson going down. Another thing too, injuries. We were talking about the Georgia game. They had a lot of injuries on defense. They had a lot of injuries happen to them during that game. What is it with, and I haven't seen this in a while, dude gets hurt for Georgia, and you can see on the TV his leg is bent the wrong way.
Right.
It's gross, and you can see his excruciating pain lying in the end zone. Man, they kept showing the damn replay over and over and over again. It's like, I don't want to see this dude's leg turned the wrong way again.
Well, then after they come back from the break, they're like, we're going to stop showing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so we already saw it the first 10 times you freaking showed it. So, yeah, that was pretty nasty. Felt bad for the kid, and, you could tell, it hurt like hell. Yeah. One thing that I remember is he's laying in the end zone, and, he scores a touchdown. The players run over to congratulate him. One dude looks down and goes like, oh my God, like that guy's foot's facing fucking backwards. So, yeah, great week. Overall, though, great week in college football. Hated rivalry games, some upsets, just some fun football. Let's keep the train rolling for next week. Each week is just better and better.
That's right. We're just getting started this season. Pac-12 just started. So,
yeah, right.
We got a lot of football to go, and we're going to get back with you sometime this week, more than likely, and then we'll definitely be back Sunday to update the scores and highlights this week.
Appreciate you tuning in, guys.
All right, you guys have a good day.
See ya.